It's just clear that our country is completely divided now. You're either very conservative or you're radical and you're progressive and you're woke left. And the facts don't seem to matter here. Some of these individuals that won, when you look at their records, they are so extreme and so progressive. People are just dug in. They're dug in really deep right now. And
John Fetterman, you're talking about?
Absolutely. He is so extreme, wants to open up a third of the prisons.
Doesn't frack?
Yeah, exactly, and lied about it. How about Mandela Barnes? I mean, he wants to open 50% of the prisons.
Right. He's
and
trailing.
he's running against Ron Johnson, but it's still tight. But how do you explain this country now, Brian, to your point? I mean, we have open borders, record gas prices, inflation is the worst in 40 years. The president's approval ratings are so bad, worst crime since the 1980s, and yet I heard last night this is an indictment on the Republican Party.
I want to talk about what's super fun to watch.
Biggest loser tonight is Donald Trump.
Donald Trump was the big loser.
This man is a loser.
He's the biggest loser in American politics.
Big losers are going to be Donald Trump.
Trump is not a national winner.
This is a resounding loss for him.
Well, not only is Donald Trump the loser, we already heard John Carl say that Donald Trump was the biggest loser of the night. Do you agree?
Oh, there's no question.
Trump was the biggest loser last night. I know he hates hearing that.
Biggest loser tonight. That's on Fox News Digital. Talking about
It's the Republicans about to eat each other's young.
That made so many people think Republicans were going to do better than they did last night. It was also, and I think this is important, it was also because Republicans said they would do great last night. Republicans explicitly set expectations high for how they were going to blow Democrats out in this election. And not just recently. This time last year, Kevin McCarthy, the top Republican in the House, got up at a formal press conference in the Capitol and told reporters that Republicans were expecting to take more than 60 seats in the House. If things go great for them from here on out, it will look more like 6 than 60. Last month, Republican Senator Rick Scott, who was in charge of the Republicans' campaign in the Senate, he said Republicans were going to get minimum 52 seats in the Senate. Minimum 52 without even trying. But he said he expected more than that. He expected 53, 54, 55 Republican seats. At this hour, it's not even clear the Republicans will get 50, although they might. At 8:15 Eastern last night, after the first big round of poll closings. Are you okay, Chris?
I don't know.
I remember this tweet. I remember it too. Put it back up there.
Screenshot
it. 8:15 p.m. Eastern time last night, after the first big round of poll closings, the eldest son of former President Donald Trump, Mr. Jr., posted this on Twitter. Just the word bloodbath with 3 exclamation points. I should tell you, he hasn't been heard from since. It's possible that was a cry for help. But a bloodbath is the one thing this election was not.
And here's a lesson to take from last night. Look, why did the Democrats do better than expected? Because for 2 years, they've governed as liberals. They've governed as whacked out lefty nut jobs. And you know what that did? That excited their base. That excited a bunch of young voters that came out in massive numbers, because when you actually stand for something, your base gets excited. There's a lesson for Republicans to learn, which is when we have a majority next year, we damn well better act like it and use it.
Also, single women are breaking for Democrats by 30 points. And this makes sense when you think about how Democrat policies are designed to keep women single. But once women get married, they vote Republican. Married women, married men go for Republicans by double digits. But single women under 40 have been captured by Democrats. So we need these ladies to get married. And it's time to fall in love and just settle down. Guys, go put a ring on it.
Will Republicans use power? This is my question. Will they wield power? Because if you have a single takeaway as the result stands right now, it is that what the Republican electorate wants is a strong executive who utilizes and wields power over his enemies and then destroys his enemies and makes them grovel, makes molten salty tears flow from their faces, as Ron DeSantis did with Disney. Man, have you ever... Think about a timeline that we're living in right now. The timeline we're living in right now is that Elon Musk just endorsed Republicans for Congress. You had that going for you. You have Cenk Uygur, Cenk Uygur, your best friend, Charlie Kirk.
I'm really close with you.
I live every day as a capitalist. Your best friend voting for a Republican, flipped Democrat, but a Republican, Rick Caruso. And then you have essentially every headwind of culture heading our direction, and we couldn't deliver a victory. However, of course, Florida, we showed the way. The path was a strong people rewarded a strong executive who wields power on their behalf. And what we won't get in this Congress, what I'm fearful of, Rich, and maybe you can take my fears and put them to sleep, but I doubt you will, is that we will get Paul Ryan 2.0. You will get a Paul Ryan 2.0 Congress where nothing is done, where everything is flaccid, and you just get Republican leadership in name only and a betrayal of the base.
Will they come to their senses? You wait and see. I'm not going to hold my breath. But it's going to be fun to watch.
Humpty Dumpty. You got to go back to the early summer of 2015 to see this. Now, the Wall Street Journal opinion page has been tough on Trump consistently. But the Post now, brutal. The Daily News also. And he's just not looking well there. I don't know. They made
That's some photo editing.
That might be some photo editing, but Trump's big fail also.
He is going to see that. He is going to go insane.
He's going to go insane. He's going to blame his wife again. By the way, pro tip to guys. Don't, things are going bad. Don't blame your wife. But anyway, let's get back to the New York Post. This is pretty big. I mean, listen, Murdoch has never liked Donald Trump. Never liked him. Put up with him. He knew that it was good business. But man, they have turned on him, and they're looking. Vaticanologists tell me they're looking actually at Youngkin. They like Youngkin a lot, and they'll deal with DeSantis, but they want this guy gone.
Yeah, the last couple days have shown that, and we've seen cracks too in the narrative at Fox News as well, online, but also now on the air, spilling over to say, how did this happen? I mean, they were dumbstruck by the results of the election Tuesday night, and it all leads back to Donald Trump. There's no avoiding that. I mean, you can make the case that they had bad candidates. Well, a lot of those bad candidates were there because of Donald Trump.
Well, exactly.
So all roads lead back to him, and they believe if Tuesday night was any indication of where things headed, they just can't afford, even politically, to have him still pulling the strings on the party.
Well, and Gene, why are we talking about this off the top? We're talking about it, first of all, because this drives so much Republican thinking.
It sure does.
I know, inside and outside of my family, and that impacts the base, but also you see the conservatives that are attacking him, and we're going to be talking about this soon. People who call themselves conservatives that aren't actually conservative, Trumpists, and you realize we may be moving toward not the end, not the beginning of the end, but as Churchill said,
end of the beginning, maybe. I mean, we've called that end of the beginning thing before, right? I know I have, but no, this really seems different because it's so concrete. They were so sure they were just going to sweep to these big majorities in the House and the Senate, and it was going to be, happy days are here again, or the Republican version of that, and it absolutely ain't that. They got to look at Trump, who was responsible for a lot of this. They also need to look at those exit polls. They need to look at those issues that voters were concerned about. They were concerned about democracy. They were concerned about abortion. And yes, they were concerned about inflation. Right. But it wasn't all inflation. There are other things, and they are on the wrong side of these issues.
Y'all take it easy. I'm Zachariah. Democrats won. Fuck you, Mitch McConnell. Fuck you, Donald Trump.